for more than 20 years, and has a rich experience with CNS Electric Limited, NPL Electronics, Mobileware, India Limited, to name a few. He was the principal research engineer at IIT Kanpur to set up the Center for Flexible Electronics at IIT Kanpur, and with a huge experience behind him, it is only pertinent to get his view on industry academia collaboration. So with these few words, I request Sir Jindal to take.
Thank you, Prof. And thank you for having me over. Am I audible to that? Because otherwise, standing at a place and talking is so, as Dr. Amrin mentioned, I worked in industry for a long time, and I've been in touch with academics also throughout my career, and had one institute at IIT Kanpur before, and now it's my second institute at IIT Kanpur. So this time I joined with a very peculiar portion called Professor of Practice. Some of you might be wondering that what this position is all about. So this is more about that kind of a lateral entry for industry people who wants to now make a kind of switch to. Okay, thank you. This is what I am, and so I have worked in various industries, but primarily electronic industries, including data storage, lighting, solar. Solar photovoltaic has been in my longest stint in between. Academic world works in a certain way. We have a lot of excellence in our academic world, and but how I visualize industry collaboration with for the academic world is kind of giving that ship a direction, right? Otherwise, that ship could be doing wonderful job, but standing at the seashore. That's how I kind of look at it. Having worked in both places, having worked with industry, having worked with academia. The way I see it is that it is both sides of the thing academic world has to look into, where they have to look into the aspect that whatever wonderful they are doing, industry can actually become kind of a gyroscope or a kind of a guiding factor for them. And if this relationship is so we have a ship, but the ship has to be sent in the sea, and it has to face the real world. It seems to be have ship very safe at the harbor, but that is not what ship is supposed to do, right? So, and industrial collaboration, what it can do is that it can give it a purpose. That's how I look into it. Is that if you do a right industrial collaboration, it can give ship a direction. It can give it a purpose. It's not that it is without a purpose without that, but then as an academic institute, we need to think what we want to be. And I'll cover this thing as we kind of go along. So, model of industrial academia collaboration has changed over the years. What it earlier was that we used to have this migration of brain primarily from. Sorry, there was a globe here which says India and the developing nations, which is somehow not coming compatible with this. Whatever. So there was a huge migration of brain going from geographies like India and some of these developing nations where already money has already come in that western part of the Europe or America and all those things. So that was a model earlier. Now these days, the model that we see is that we have a lot of collaboration between these international geographies and these national geographies when we are looking at the academic things. So, but to me, the better model, and which I'll talk about again and again today, would be that this model cannot continue to work in isolation the way it is working right now. This model, if it has to succeed, like places like Technopark, and that's where I'm a big fan of places like this, where it has to be a sync within the system. And what it needs to be done is that R&D has to be at the heart of it, along with the talent and the industry kind of enveloping it and kind of overseeing it as a part of the whole ecosystem, and not looking it from the outside. Like having a foot in and having a foot out of the door is not the way that it should be. The both feet should be in with the whole conviction, and that's the model that probably has to work more and more. And that's where the places like Technopark can play a role there. And of course, there has to be overarching thing of market also on top of it. See, Obviously, when industry comes into picture, they will bring their own market intelligence. But probably together between academia and industry, we can have a further market intelligence growth, which we can develop as if we kind of work together and have that leap of faith where we can jump together onto something. Right? That leap of faith is highly important. Um, from my academic side, what needs to be done for that is that, see, academicians historically, and I'm also guilty of that. Sometime in my career, we always work a lot of time in silos, and that has been a way of our working at many times, that we somebody else, somebody publishes a paper, then somebody XYZ kind of follows it, then somebody else or does some extend that work, but finally it is the effort of engineers or marketing people which kind of takes it to the market. And we miss that aspect. And but imagine if those engineers and those marketing people were part of the system when you were moving from ABC to alpha beta gamma, and not really wait for you to finish what you are doing and then bring it in, then you're losing the time to market. See, having been in industry, what I understand a lot is that time to market is key. And since time to market is the key, so bring the necessary market intelligence, bring the necessary engineering aspect to it as part of your project at the beginning itself. Why do you wait to finish that we have all finished everything, and then we say, okay, now our scientist work is done. Now the baton is to you engineers. Then engineers say, okay, now my work is done. Baton is to you two marketing people, right? And then that way, this model is kind of going away. And even further thing on this model, which is evolving in the world a lot these days, is co-development. Right? Even the giants of the world, people like Samsungs, LGs, IBMs, they have a co-generation research centers now. A single facility where they are a fierce competitor in the world. And with the fierce competition in the world, they have common labs in which they work together, co-own the IP, and then how to take it to market, everybody can have a different strategy. Even US defense is using it very effectively. What they're doing is that they want a solution to go to market, and they have 3-4 different competing technologies which they want to like kind of try it out. So rather than making it in isolation, they float expression of interest. They ask companies to come in, that this is the place that we are giving you. You come, send us your best of your team, work here, like a place like Technopark, for example. And they ask everybody to develop it. And then whatever solution comes out, then they have the choice to, to select one of the technologies which one they want to take to market. And that IP could be co-owned by more than one company. One company could be marketing it in the end, but that IP could be shared by co-shared by the others. And they also have a fallback plan in that. Suppose one technology is taken to the market, that fails, they have the second technology as a backup technology ready for that also. So what I'm trying to say is that the model which is evolving now is not working in isolations anymore. Model which is evolving very strongly these days is co-working, have the end-to-end visibility with you, and have those all set of people part of the ecosystem from day one. Also, we need to say what also helps to do that is, what do we call as what do so when we make a innovation, for example, what is the market intelligence that we are putting in that innovation? And you would have heard it historically again and again. I'll give you a classical example is when this DVD player was coming up, there was another format which was coming up at the same time, and that format failed because that format did not connect with the market. Having worked in data storage industry, we saw a fierce competition in Blu-ray and a format called HD DVD. And Blu-ray came to the market. HD DVD failed because again they failed to connect to the market, because that was typically led by some companies who were not keeping appraised themselves of what is market looking for. Right. Suppose I have a beautiful model which I develop, a round mobile. I think as a scientist, I have done such a wonderful discovery or wonderful innovation. But I'm not exaggerating right now. Sorry for that. But that you will not develop a round mobile for sure. But the example which I'm trying to give is that having that market intelligence from day one. So this is a kind of a cartoon which I kind of love and use it. Okay, what is the use of a notebook? It's better than a smartphone to play golf, right? So at least you can hit the golf ball through it, right? In a smartphone, how will you do that? So that's one. So now with a foldable mobile, maybe you can, but your ball size has to be smaller. But see, that is the worry if you are working in isolation these days, and that is the model which is evolving worldwide slowly. Having worked in industry, currently working in academia also, this co-working model is something which is developing a lot, and this is what something which we have to keep our eye on and have to be open-minded to work in that fashion. uh, what we need to really understand is that academia and industry comes with different objective. See, one is here to make money, and another one is here to do excellence in academics. Are they anti each other? It's about how you position it, right? What I see is that this profit oriented, non-profit oriented has been kind of blown out of proportion. And if you handle it rightly, we can, as academia also, can be part of the ecosystem of an industry and help them to make them profitable. See, I've worked in industries which has even fourth decimal place price difference in making it profitable to a non-profitable. Like working in CD industries, we used to make 3.6 billion discs a year. You can imagine the amount of discs that we are making, and we were competing with all the Taiwanese and all those things. So very fierce competition. What all we were only talking about was cost. Like that's the only discussion we had. But what used to give us profit was those 5% of the product which used to be niche product, which where we were working uh, with a thought process that let's not look into only profitability of a product, and those 5% of the bucket used to give us the profit at the bottom line. And so that kind of has to be handled rightly. And there is an IP issue which obviously needs to be settled, and those kind of. So I think legal framework for that is very important, and we all have learned how to do that. And so, but industry sometimes doesn't like patents, so that we have to play kind of subtly and rightly, because sometimes industry feels suffocated if you give them a patent to kind of fight with. So that is something which has to be handled, but I think that is a problem which is solvable problem. So that is something which has to be done. And also time to market, as I said, we cannot be too early also. Like we all know that steam engine came and waited for other peripheral things to kind of develop to come up. And if we are working with industry much more closely, what we can also do as an academician would be, an industry would also know, is that what is happening at other peripheral things, which sometimes as an industrialist we used to be blinded about, right? And sometimes having in academia sometimes is also blinded about it, that what is happening as a peripheral thing. So and that kind of a collaboration helps on that aspect also. Um, Again, uh, how it can be taken forward is, we don't need to solve a equation to how the moon rover will land perfectly on the moon on day one. We can really work on baby steps. We can take projects which may look very trivial projects for academician to begin with, but that will all help to develop that confidence in each other. See, what has been missing in this Indian ecosystem, which is slowly getting to change after many years, is that trust factor between academics and the industry side. See, if I can be very blunt about it, academics look at industry as the sheep which can give them a lot of meat to eat, right? A lot of money can come from them. As soon as we look at the industrial collaboration project, the first thing that we are looking for is, how much money in it for me? How much money will it come to my project? How much money will it come to my institute? Don't be impatient about it. Wait, it will happen. Second, and then on the other hand, what industry is looking for is a plug and play solution. Industry simply walks into an academic institute, and at least in Indian context, I'm not talking about global context right now. Global context, things are slightly more mature and slightly more different. But the Indian context, many times industry is simply walking into a door and looking for a solution. Sab 6 mahine mil jayega kya? And so that slowly is changing now. But it will take time, it will evolve. But what it can be done a lot from both the sides is that to build up that trust, is work on smaller projects, work on some problems which actually can show each other that what other person is looking for. I give you one example which I've seen with my own eye. One specific faculty in one of the IITs only, I'll not name the faculty, I'll not name the IIT, was approached by industry to make some specific measuring equipment, and that was supposed to go on a field to do some measurements. Measurement specification sheet was given, everything was given, an instrument was made, and when industry walked in, they did not know what to do with this. Like they all from a specification side, everything was met, and instead of a suitcase size testing measurement equipment they had a truck size measuring equipment which they were delivered. And that is the problem which I've seen. Again, I'm exaggerating slightly, but these are the kind of gaps which can come, which if we are not working together. And for us to kind of work together, learn what is the need of the end client, what is the need of the end customer, what is the need of the industry here, what is academic also looking for from industry side, what is academic also looking for, are they only looking for funding? So one of the models which I've seen for working beautifully is that industry placing their own people in academics scenario, right? And that works beautifully if industry can be open about it, because then you will, as soon as the product is ready, as soon as your technology is ready, you will have trained engineers who can walk into your shop floor, can start producing, right? Otherwise, if you kind of let academia develop it in isolation, your engineers doesn't know what to do with this. Tomorrow the whole tech transfer itself will take a year or maybe more at times. Right? And that can be bridged if you place your people within the ecosystem, let them get trained, that academic also likes that a lot, because then you will get more motivated engineers who really see their career into what they are doing. See, otherwise you some we hire some staff out here who doesn't see a career in that thing, who are just working because he or she is not finding another more job which can satisfy, which could be a long term career plan for that person. But if you have a person which has a long term career plan attached to this thing, what he or she is doing, then look at and they know that their career kind of depends upon the success of this product, success of this technology. Look at the motivation that they will have, and look at the knowledge they will have once they walk back into an industrial shop floor. And that is something which can be developed. How much time I have? Okay. Second is continuing with this. Also, I think I've covered a lot of these points, but from academic side, we need to then come up with ideas also on how do we foster that culture in our institute. And I think IITs have been working on some of these models, but some of these models could be uh, that can we have R&D labs, so why only industry people need to come and work in academic scenario? Why academician cannot go and work in an industrial scenario? Why can't sabbaticals be given to faculties or to researchers within our system? Like I was trying to send a couple of my MTechs for summer interns, and I was told by IIT that there is no system for sending MTechs as summer interns. Only for BTechs it is there right now. So a lot of such things can be solved. A lot of faculties can be sent off sabbaticals. So this movement will actually help both ways. Knowledge transfer. This will happen. This will help to kind of plug a lot of uh, uh, that discomfort that we have. That tight strain of relationship can really be smoothened if we start working with each other more and more. Uh, from an academic side, we need to, as I've kind of said before, also we need to learn what is industrial point of view. Fine, they are looking for money, but is that the only thing that they are looking for? Sometimes they are looking for that tip to just tilt onto one change which can give them a better ROI for whatever they are doing. And sometimes it is not really magic that they are looking for. Talk to them, talk to industry, understand what is actual motive behind what they are kind of coming you to. Is it actually the magic that they are looking for, or it is just this kind of that differentiator which kind of makes them different from a me too set of products, and those two different set of products which then they can take and exploit in the market is something they are just looking for this. I have the one other issue which we have faced when I was part of industry. We have faced this issue as part of academic world. I face this issue from the second side is that can we publish whatever we are developing here? Can that be published? I think this is again solvable through a good legal term. But what I've seen working as a solution for that is if industry is willing to file a patent on this, give them 6 months to file a patent on this. Let patent be filed first, and then you send a paper as a follow-up paper. So that model I've seen working beautifully. I've worked with a lot of international giants also on this, like working with IBMs and all those things. So this is a model which I've seen to be successful. And give them right of refusal for first 6 months. Don't ever wait. Like if they're not filing it within 6 months, then you should have that clause in your legal thing that if within 6 months you don't file the patent, then we should have the right to go and publish it also. But otherwise, you could be waiting forever, and that work can also get drained out, right? So it and industry needs to also understand it that if they need to patent it, they are given enough time of 6 months to kind of do it. Uh, uh, Furthermore, things which academia can do is we need to make it the simple system simpler. We can avoid a lot of paperwork. We are working on it. I know as academic institute, since I'm part of the system now, so I understand that we are all working towards it, but more can be done. Still, our legal compliances can be much better. We can have a much better website. At least for IIT Kanpur, I can say that we can have a much better website because a lot of good work is going around which industry doesn't understand. So I think I can go on and on with all of my experience, but I think I'll just stop here and thank you for your time and thank you for your patience. I hope I did not make you all sleep after a good lunch.
So, any question? Quick question. But I have a question, very quick question. I think that I have you mentioned it in your talk. I've seen like Carnegie Mellon University. They have a consortium in the department. They don't take fund from NSF, and this is a steel consortium. They have 12 steel maker, many steel makers who are coming together. They all fund projects, and they share, as you say, they share the IP. And if they have to develop further, then they take it from that point on, actually. And what is it in India that ArcelorMittal R&D chief was coming, visiting me in TRDC, and we asked them that would you ever do a research with us? No, you are Tatas. We will never touch base with Tatas, as if there is some kind of stealing happens. So that's the problem in general. We are forming a consortia, which, like for example, right now you are associated with Sustainable Engineering Department. A lot of solutions that we talk about will be across the board, actually. It will be helping all of them. So come together, fund a research, and then take it to a specific field. I think somehow it is not happening. So I don't know what is your experience there.
See, my experience on that has been what is our expectation from time to market. See, in Indian context, specifically, what I've seen is that patience level still it has to develop. Right, we still are in a hurry. We still want a solution. If it is not available with academic world, we are happy to walk to Germany. We are happy to walk to UK. We are happy to walk to some country. Just buy that solution and come back and start producing it from tomorrow. That's so that patience has to develop, and for that, it's not that only patience. We cannot be leaving market to kind of go around that we have been patient about it. We need to be that much aggressive in our thought process that what can be happening 5 years down the line. We need to think on those things. So I think that is still is missing, and since that is missing, so since I'm in hurry, you are in also hurry, then there's one door, and I know both of us cannot go past it together. So I'll just run. If I run faster than you, then I'll go faster. That's what is happening.
Thank you so much, Professor Jindal. And I would request Professor Amarendra K. Singh to facilitate. Jindal.